Personally, I don't think it's okay. Getting a job is a real hassle as such because it takes a willing heart. Because if you qualified and you have a degree and all you're doing is sitting around, jobs don't come knocking. You go knocking for jobs. Yeah. So if you're doing enough on your part, there isn't really a big hassle. It's not about networks. It's not about who you know, who you don't. It's, are you confident? Can you do what you're trained to do? Can you prove beyond doubt to your manager that, hey, I'm what you're looking for? It's all about proving yourself, not really looking for jobs. It's proving you can do that job. There are jobs there. You're only missing that person to do it.
The courses that are offered at the university, most of them, the curriculum is not in line with the job market. So you find that when you go to look for work, most of the employers, one, they need experience. So you find that when they need experience, sometimes you don't have the experience that is required, and also what you get from class is not very much related with what is needed at the job market. So you find that it sometimes becomes a challenge to secure a job, because of the experience that is needed. And another challenge that I may also quote, another challenge is also that when you go looking for a job, sometimes the courses that you do, you're not actually sure where they're applicable in the market. So you don't know where to go and look for the job. You don't know which firms to look for the job and where to look for the job.
Maybe not being sure and searching for long and then you don't get. But according to what I'm doing, it doesn't have such challenges. Because after you finish, you rest for 2 months and then you go back for internship. So there's no much challenge.
When you are from college, you are having that highest hope that you are going to get a chance to be employed. Now, what it's a shorter period that I'm out, and then I'm seeing that actually the way we are taught, the system that we've in, is like we are taught to have that white collar job. But I've seen the need of youth involving themselves to at least to have a self-employed, because it isn't easy to get a job, bearing in mind that you are fresh from college and you don't have that experience. So actually what I'm doing right now is I'm doing a sacrificial job just to get that experience in order to see whether I'm going to have a capital to employ myself.
Lack of opportunities, jobs. You know, people are qualified, but there are not enough jobs. Yeah, that is one of my worst fears. Yeah.
One of the major is the experience. When they go to the job market after the graduation, they are told they have to have a certain experience, numbers of years they have worked. That is one of the major challenge they are getting. And again, while they are in school, even how to, you see like now, they are admission by a joint admission board. They take very few students. So there are so many who are left outside and they have qualified. So they have to go to parallel degree and they are very expensive. So you see there are so many students who are left outside. That's one of the major. So they will not get the qualification they want because of that. And they have attained the minimum mark in any qualification.
In a time where youth unemployment is so major and Generation Y is almost being considered a generational crisis, there are some young achievers who are doing great things. And joining us today is Alexandria Laura Siaga, who is doing her PhD at the age of 25. Welcome to Expressions and Hear More. I'm your host, Esther Nema. Now, Alex, when you told me you're doing a master's right after university, I was in awe. And then I meet you again and you're like, oh, I'm doing my PhD already at the age of 25. How have you managed to be so sure about your career and run for it? But before you tell us all that, maybe you could just introduce yourself.
Okay. My name is Alexandria Laura Siaga. I'm from a family of 5. I actually have a twin sister as well. And I guess my ambition, or how it is I've been able to do what I do as fast as I have, would stem from my parents.
Yeah.
My dad is a lecturer at the University of Nairobi, and he's a professor as well. And my mom is also a lecturer. So academics has been something that has been very fundamental in our family. And it's something that's looked at as a very high, it's something that's supposed to be attained. It's something you're supposed to look at and see you can get. So my parents have always pushed us to be at our best. And now academically, being at my best would be attaining a PhD.
Yeah, so when you always knew you have to do a PhD?
Actually, no. When I was in uni, I decided, when I'm done with this bachelor's degree, that's it. That's it. And then I started doing marketing, and I loved it. And then I got into the job market, and I was given a promotion to actually run the marketing department. And then when I was there, I realized there's a lot about the management part of the business that I'm not really sure of. I mean, I was winging it because many people have called me a natural leader.
Yeah.
But to actually sit down and know the systems that are in place and know what to do, I realized I needed to go back and do a little bit more of studying. So when we graduated, I hopped into a plane and I went to do my master's.
Right away.
Immediately. In fact, it was 2 days after.
2 days after. So you probably didn't even do a party. You just...
I didn't have a party. I graduated, we had lunch, and I got on a plane.
And then, then we just hear rumors. Oh, so-and-so went and did her master's, which is amazing. So in campus, then you realize, okay, I want to do my master's.
Yes.
And that was in your 4th year. So it wasn't part of the plan at all.
It wasn't part of the plan at all. I reached a point where I think I was also exhausted with school. And then I loved school. That's the amazing thing about it. For the first time in my life, I loved school. I loved the marketing courses, and it was fun. And then even when I finished, because when I finished, I had about some months between, because I finished after the graduation. So I had to wait for another year for the other graduation. So in between, the working is what made me realize that I needed to pursue a master's.
And then once again, the PhD now.
Now, college, doing my master's made me realize I wanted to do a PhD.
Yes.
I loved it. When I was in school, I went to study at the Eastern Mediterranean University in Cyprus. And I had an opportunity to start a program that would tutor some students. So when I was doing that, I loved it. I loved having the students come, and I'd sit down with them and I'd find out where their problems were and what they weren't able to learn in class. I was able to take them through it. And when they brought me the results with their CAT exams, or when they brought me their tests, I would see an actual improvement.
Yeah.
And I realized I love it.
I want to do this
I actually want to do it.
Yes.
Before, I used to say lecturing is not going to be my thing.
Yeah.
But now I appreciate it, and I like the impact that it creates in people, and I'd like to be a part of that. Then I was doing my thesis, and I love the whole research process. Can you imagine me loving to do research?
It was a sudden switch, and all of a sudden you are driven and you want to do everything.
And the whole scene that there's a group of people out there who are doing the same thing, and it was no longer just about getting a master's degree. I actually wanted to do the research because what I was doing was something that was interesting, and it was an interest in me. And then a lot of the things that I had wanted to do in my master's, my supervisor kept telling me, you can't do it at your master's level.
Oh, you have to do it at a higher level. And that's what probably now it kept inspiring you.
Yes, I was like, that's it.
Did you at any point get tired of studying and think, oh my God, I need to wait? I need to just...
After the 2nd week of assignments, I called home. I was like, I am ready to get on a plane.
Oh, really?
I'm done. And I think it was also because of the pressure. I was in a foreign campus. In my class, I was one of the... Well, in my first class, I was the only black person.
Oh, okay.
And it's amazing because I think it's only Kenyans who love the whole master's things. When you go outside, you find people in your master's program are much older.
Oh, okay.
And because I was in class with Iranians and and Cypriots and other people, after their 4 years of the bachelor's, they have 1 year to do service. Other people have 2 years of service. So by the time I was joining my master's, I was the youngest person.
You're still the youngest. And in your PhD class, you probably
I
are
am
definitely,
way
obviously, the youngest.
Yes.
And how's that for you? I mean, does it make you like run faster, or do you feel young and babied by the rest of the class, or what really happens?
There are high expectations for me because they have the assumption that I've just left school, so I should know the material anyway.
Yeah.
But you know, they forget that they have an advantage over me because they've been in the industry a whole lot longer. But the first day I walked into class, my lecturer thought I was confused, told me the master's department is down the hall. Oh. So I told him, no, I'm here for the PhD program. And he looked at me and he literally asked me for my papers. He's like, let's see your letter that you've been called to do a PhD. And again, and he looks at me like I was literally in the wrong place.
Yes.
And then when I walked across the room, because now the only seat was right in the middle of the room, there was this hushed silence for, are
you in the right class?
This girl is lost. So I sat down and it was intimidating at first.
At first it was.
It really was, because I was in class with managing directors, and I was in class with managers and people who had 25 years, 10 years experience. It was really intimidating. But I said, you know what? I'm going to do this because I know what I'm doing
because I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so you're ready. I'm sure you're ready to be a lecturer already. So you will probably be one of the youngest PhD holders, lecturers in the country.
One of the lecturers asked me how it would be to walk into a class and teach people who are older than me. It's a challenge that I'm going to look forward to. But I have to say, I'm not just doing a PhD because I want to lecture. Lecturing was actually what I was thinking of after everything else. I'm doing a PhD mostly because I want to enter into consultancy, into a marketing consultancy.
So marketing is still in the picture.
Marketing
very
is my first love. It's all I want to do. I'm a marketer, yeah.
So your experience in marketing, and okay, maybe not just in marketing, but this obviously is not, it's very outstanding for women, and knowing that culturally this is very, it's very different. You as a woman getting into the marketing field and doing really well at it, and still going ahead and doing your PhD in a society where we're still encouraging young women to even get into masters and all that. How has it been for you, and what have been some of the challenges as a woman?
I have to say again, I thank God for my parents. My dad has been one of the greatest facilitators of my ambition, and my mom just backs me up. I tell her I want to do this, and they won't have this question for girls don't do that.
Or there's no such thing.
There's no such thing in our family.
Yes.
In fact, my father expects you to do it, and because of that, I've never, I think I've been sheltered as well. In our household, anything goes. If you have a dream and you want to pursue it, my dad would fund that for you if it was necessary. He'll counsel you on it. You can seek his advice. He was always there. So we've always been given the opportunity to do what we want. I mean, it doesn't come without arguments and stuff. We have our fights.
You have to fight it out.
I want to do this, and my dad would feel like, don't feel you should do that. But he'll be like, if you really insist that you want to do it, then you know what, I'll back you up.
Okay.
So because I had that backing, it was easier for me. And I didn't really realize that, and then being Kenyan, the society that now is very open even to women.
Right now
up,
people are.
It was not that hard. Till I got the job. I remember my first job.
Till you got the job.
And then I got promoted. And you have to now make decisions on behalf of the company. Now when you walk out and you go to, many other places where the management team consists of an older generation.
Okay.
And a lot of the management team is not just an older generation, but an older generation with men.
Mostly.
And that's when you feel that you're a woman, and they make you feel like you're not supposed to be here.
Oh, really?
A lot of times I would go, and I've already been empowered by my boss to make decisions, but they tell me, go and call your boss.
Wow. So they feel like you're not boss enough yet.
Exactly.
Because either one, you're young, you're a woman, you're all those things.
Yes. And then, of course, there's also the cliche of you're in marketing and you're a lady, then for lack of a better word, they look at you and they say you have loose morals. It still is a very much male-dominated. Yes, and because a lot of women, to get ahead, they have to compromise on their ethics or their morals. A lot of people feel that in this industry, you have to, it's part and parcel of the thing. So that was one of the challenges that I faced. And then, of course, now doing my master's outside, majority of the people in our class, like I said, I went to school with Iranians and I went to school with a lot of Arab people and Turkish people and stuff. And those people, by their culture, look down on women. So I had the problem. First, I was a lady, and then I was young, and then I was black.
A combination.
I was
of all
African.
that.
I'm sorry. It was hard.
Yes. Okay.
Uni was a bit hard, but
how was it? Did you experience any form of racism or
Yes.
what and everything?
it was the first thing I experienced on the plane.
Yeah.
And I remember I made that complaint. I seriously wrote a formal complaint to Turkish Air because I flew there with another Kenyan student, and when we were on the plane, there was this particular host, air host. Is that what you call them?
Yeah.
He would serve the guys in front.
Yeah.
Then when he came to us, he'd serve the guys on the side, and then he'd serve the guys from the back.
Yeah.
So I got upset the first time, because the girl next to me.
What's happening?
Yeah, the girl next to me is like, no, maybe he forgot. So, I called attention and I called the air hostess and I was like, I'm sorry, we haven't been served. So she brought out drinks. And then when the meal came, he did the same thing again. So I called her and I said, I'm sorry, there's something wrong here. She said, she called the guy, and the guy said, no, that he had forgotten. You forget twice. So when we finished our meal, they're supposed to come and collect the dishes. He skipped us again. And this time around when he was called, he said we hadn't finished with our meal. We had stacked up the plates. I mean,
from the beginning.
From the
time that
beginning.
you actually leave
Yes.
and going to.
And I could tell he also had an issue with female authority, because when the lady in charge, the hostess in charge, was talking to him, he had an attitude towards her.
Yeah, so you're kind of always supposed to be.
Yeah, if it was any other guy who had told him, I mean, if the pilot had told him to style up, he probably would have, but
he just didn't do it.
And I was like, wow, I've barely even landed, and this is it. And then after that, things just took a different turn. So it felt like every step of the way I had to keep encouraging myself. It's okay to be a woman, and it's okay to go for your goals. I mean, I was in a class, a statistics class, and Indians and Chinese and Iranians are amazingly good at math.
Yeah.
And my class was filled with them. I think we were only like 4 ladies in our class. And they made sure we knew that we were beneath them.
You're constantly reminded.
If the lecturer asked a question and I got it wrong, they would make me know that I got it wrong because I am inferior to them. Even if one of their own women stood up, I remember like there was this time in class, some Iranian girl stood up to argue with the lecturer. And the guys told her to sit down, that a woman should not speak in the presence of ours. I mean...
Oh, you were... And, Kenya is a lot more liberal when it comes to such things. So you're thinking, what is happening?
I went out there, I said, I was like, I'm sorry? They said, yes, in our country, women do not speak, and this girl is Iranian, and she should not speak because...
She should be quiet.
Yeah, she should be quiet. We are speaking. If she has anything to say, she'll say it after the class.
We're still going to talk about more challenges. Clearly, you've had a lot of drama to get here, but you still moved on. You're watching Expressions. I'm your host, Esther Nama. We'll be back after the break. Fashion is definitely a part of our system. It is part of our lifestyle, and we cannot live without fashion. And that is why today we are talking about the African print, because we know it's flamboyant, original, and definitely beautiful. It's all about color when it comes to African print. It's all about patterns. And that is why today here, the model today designed this dress and is definitely going to showcase the various diversity in terms of African fashion. Here it is. This, as you can see, is an African print. It is designed using lesso material from the Kenyan coast. The lesso is used for many things. It could be used in the kitchen when people are cooking and just tying around the waist, but it could also be used to design a beautiful dress. As you can see, the colors, these are the natural colors. It is a mix of green and yellow. These are the natural colors that you would ideally find in a garden. So it represents a kind of diversity. Also, as you can see, the dress has layers. The layers add volume to the person who's wearing it. As you can see, this is a design for small figures because it also gives volume to the individual. And so even the pleats have the same function as the layers.
You can wear this dress with stockings in case it's a cold weather and you need to cover your legs that you may not freeze from the cold. And you can wear with black shoes. You can wear with even yellow shoes if you have, and you can accessorize it with anything, almost anything that you want. But this golden chain definitely blends in well with the yellow. It blends in with the green. It blends in with every other thing. And with this kind of outfit, it's better to have moderate makeup. As you can see, the model has moderate makeup, then it definitely blends in with everything else. To break the monotony of the dress, you can tie a belt and at the center. Then it actually highlights your waist, and it also volumizes your hip area. This dress can definitely be worn for various occasions. One of them, you can go with it to weddings, you can go with it to even the office. All you need to do is add a coat to it and remove the over accessories, and definitely go with it to work. So you see, it can actually be an official outfit for work, and you can actually basically use this kind of dress for anything.
Welcome back to Expressions. I'm your host, Esther Nema. Before the break, we were talking about some of the challenges that young women achievers go through. And we are talking to someone, a lady who actually has her PhD. He's doing her PhD at the age of 25. Let's go on hearing more of the challenges on this. Now, Alex, you're saying, you were telling me about the whole drama that goes on, and not just in Kenya, but when you even went for your studies, for your master's studies, and you're told a woman should not speak, you should just shut up. Yes, so.
I think for me that was about the lowest of my university education. We had the first exam, the first cut, and I tanked it. Everybody in my class, for some reason, has gotten above 70s and 80s, and it was statistics. I am slightly mathematically challenged.
Okay.
So, literally, I was at the bottom of the class with my 50%. I was at the bottom of the class. And I called home and I told my dad, you know what, these people are just setting me up. I can't do this.
Because so you're thinking people are being malicious.
Yeah, this is malice. And I called my dad and I cried, and my dad is like, you know what, you just keep going on. And my mom told me, don't worry about it. You know, you've already gone there, and you're done. And the craziest thing about it is I took myself there.
Yeah, and it's not always easy to be in a foreign land, and you sometimes feel like you're the only person there. Yes.
And I'd gotten there via scholarship, so
yeah.
I said that I'm going to do something about it. I used to wake up. I think I used to open the library. As in, when the lady would open the library, I would be in the library with her. In my first semester, I spent all of my days in the library, trying to catch up on the statistics, because these statistics was way advanced than what I had done. And I think maybe because of the people who were taking it, it was, because when you come and you do an exam before, so then they can place you. So I took the exam and I kept feeling like I was placed in the wrong class. I kept saying I should have taken statistics from another department. So I started doing that. I'd spent all of my time in the library, and the funniest thing was I couldn't ask anybody for help because the competition there is crazy. Everybody for themselves.
Yeah.
I'd go and I'd ask for help, and I'd say, you know what, would you like to study with me statistics? And they have no shame. They tell you no.
Oh, it's not like Kenya how we are obliged to say yes or put a story or say
you know,
something.
I can't help you because maybe I don't know. They just tell you no.
No.
Why? I
with
don't want to.
Yeah,
with a straight face. So I had to teach myself the concepts. Then we did the second exam, and here I am with a 90.
Oh my goodness.
And I wasn't sitting at the top because, you know, everything else, but I'd moved up.
Yeah.
Only
from
for
50 to 90, yes. That's
only for me to hear that I cheated in the exam.
What?
And I said, that's not possible. So I was going to another exam. I said, fine. I did it.
They just can't believe that you...
I came from being at the bottom to being it didn't happen. So
well,
I continued doing it, and then at the end of the semester, I graduated with an A.
Wow.
And it was after that that I got respect from all the other people in the class, because after that, when we came in for the other classes and everything else, then these guys actually started to take my opinions in the class, and then everything has changed. When I amazingly, I am not really sure how that happened, but I got a 4.0 GPA.
Oh my goodness!
In my first semester.
Like you got everything right.
I got a 4.0 GPA. I kept looking at that. I kept looking at my result slip, and I said, "This this could be a lie. I took a
This
picture of it and I sent it to my sister, and she's like, "What the hell? Who gets a 4.0 in uni? Who does that?"
Yes, yeah.
But so after that, everything else then just went.
It went into place. So at times you actually have to go steer on and keep trying until you get what it is that you want.
Unfortunately for women, and especially for young women, you have to work twice as hard.
Yeah, you kind of have to work twice as hard.
You can't afford, if you really want to get something, or you want to get ahead, or you know, you feel you're, not even if you feel, if you're ambitious, you have to work twice as hard. Things don't come very easily for us, and
because already someone has made up their mind.
Yeah, they've dismissed you from the minute you walk into a room. They've dismissed you. They'll say, and you know, the older generation have a really negative attitude about us. They look at us and they call us lazy, and they call us. They just think we've lost our way. They look at us,
but this is actually, you know, it's a generational thing. And
yes.
they keep talking about
all the time
Generation Y and Generation Y, this
Generation
Y. And that's actually what I want you to talk about.
Yes.
Because you seem to have it like put together. I'm sure you've also probably had your dramas in your life, but you seem to have it put together. How do you manage to gather yourself? Because there's so much happening, there's so much partying, there's so much this, there's that, and you still have to be an all-round person.
Yeah.
How do you put yourself together? How do you gather your thoughts and say, you know what, I want this, I have to achieve this?
In all honesty, it's God.
Yeah.
It's God. There's no other way to say it, because I've never really had the need to party before. I mean, the whole going to a club, raving, drinking, and all of that, I've never had a desire to do that. I mean, if you're throwing a party, I'll be there.
And you'll be the funnest person in the house.
And you know, I will make sure I'm the life of the party.
Yeah.
I think at the back of the mind, I've always known what I've wanted.
You've always known what you want.
I've always known what I've wanted. I had the opportunity to go to a really good school, to really good schools, actually. And one of the schools that I went to, I had a tutor. And we used to be assigned tutors to mentor you personally, academically, and everything else. And if you ask my parents, they'll tell you I was a joker in my beginning years.
So there's a season where you were also just like every other youth, every other person.
Books, that's a rumor. I think because I've been good in books. It's just I was lazy. I used to feel as if education, I've been forced to do it.
Specific people.
If I had an option, I'd skip it.
So I understand it's not always been the same. I mean, you've not always been this put together, or I even put together fully. But yeah, you've not always had it together. You've had some moments that are dramatic that maybe your parents right now are thinking, oh my goodness, finally.
She got there.
Yeah, she made it here, yes. Maybe you can shed light on that.
I am playful. I can be very playful. And you know, people always say sanguines need to have somebody to give them direction.
You need to.
Some days, there were some years I was more sanguine than I am now.
Yeah.
In school, in my earlier years of education, I almost got suspended for being very foolish.
Yeah.
We were supposed to be studying, and the teacher had gone out, and I was bored. I was so bored. And I remember it was actually agriculture. And that class, by the time I managed to get all the animals together, and I didn't understand why I had to learn about Ashires and I was going to keep cows. I didn't understand it. So we're being forced to, get all of this, and the teacher had walked away and she told us, you people are going to have to read because there's something she has to do. So I started pacing up and down the classroom. I was really restless. I started pacing up and down. Yes, so I did a catwalk in the class, and now I had a theme song. Somebody was drumming, so I decided, let's make the best out of this. And then, I had my cheerleaders. So everybody's, woo, work it. So I decided, you know what, I'm going to teach people a lesson in how to work it. I was good at drawing. I am still very good at drawing. So I went to the blackboard and I drew a silhouette of a female body with the female body parts. I figured, by the time the teacher came, I would quickly erase the board. And I was supposed to have had a lookout who didn't look out very well. So I went and I, like how you used to have diagrams and the teacher tells you, come and name different parts.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Those are, yes.
Name the following body parts. I put an arrow here. What's this? Now in this particular part, you're supposed to do this.
Yeah.
What's this? In this particular part, swing it, you know. And I went on and on and on. And then some of my cheerleaders told me to give an example. So me, I got onto the table. I have to mention, I'm in a Catholic school.
Yes.
I got onto the table. And that my mama had blessed me with, and the
You
Lord
had to show
Jesus,
what you got.
I shook it all. And then I look at the back and my teacher has been standing there throughout this whole time. So my agriculture teacher was actually very polite. She was still one of the new ones, so she went and she got one of the bad, you know, the ones you fear, those ones.
Yeah.
So she came in and she asked me what I was doing. So I went into defensive mode. I gave some story that I had cooked up. Or, you know, we were doing home science. Because then, you know, home science were being taught about reproductive.
Yes.
How am I doing home science in agriculture class? I'm like, but, you know, the exam usually comes as home science and agriculture. She didn't bite it. So me, I got pissed because now she said, you know, insulting me and stuff. So I got angry. So me, I walked out. No, before I walked out, I got angry and then I said some stuff. So she slapped me. In my school, you're not allowed to slap students. I got angry. I walked out. She called me back. I didn't even walk back in. I mean, I walked out.
You ran out.
I just walked out. I was so angry. So afterwards, she went to the principal's office, and then I was summoned in the principal's office. The principal, she gave them a story. So I got pissed. So I got again into my defensive, aggressive mode. And I walked out again. My mom was called. My parents were called. Now, my mom, I think she believed my teachers. Now that made me even angrier. I was like, oh my God, how can you believe that?
Yeah.
I didn't do anything wrong. Okay, fine, I did something wrong, but this woman slapped me. I didn't deserve that. So they were going to suspend me. Actually, I was taken out of school. I don't know what my parents did or what they said, but then my sentence was reduced to detention.
To detention, at least reduced punishment, and then the rest of it, but detention for the rest of your high school life.
I had detention almost, I think only when we got to class 8 is when detention was lifted, because now I'd be studying anyway. But literally my mom used to drop me there every Saturday for detention. I had to drop out of ballet because I was doing detention.
Yeah.
I had to drop out of piano because I was doing detention. I mean, that detention, Lord. Then after that is when now my tutor, Mr. Mati, called me and sat me down and told me, get your act together.
It is time to get your act together.
You're a bright girl. And you know, when we used to have exams, we used to be put in divisions, 1st division to 4th division. And I used to operate between 1st and 2nd division, depending on how I felt like studying. So she gave me a talk down, and after that, I stayed in the 1st division.
Yeah, so that's at what point in your life did you say, oh, you know what, I need to put my act together?
Yes, actually, I can't forget Mr.
How old
Mati
were you then?
I was in class 7. How old are people in class 7?
Oh, okay, 13, 12.
Around there.
So now at some point you have to make up your mind and say, you know what, I need to put my act together. I need to change from this, I need to change from that. Because I think this generation has been accused of, you know, quite a number of things. You know, we're refusing to reach
the line.
Yeah, you know, we are all, you meet us and we're like, oh, kuhaso, maishani, you know,
struggle.
Exactly. So I don't know what you would say, tell people in terms of relationship, in terms of career, how to get your act together, because 20 is actually, it's not the new 30, 20 is 20.
20 is 20.
Yes.
I don't believe in waiting until I'm old enough. I am old enough.
Yeah.
There's a king in the Bible who was made king at 8 years old. So I don't think that we're supposed to wait until a certain age to achieve certain goals. And perhaps that's the problem that a lot of this generation has. Currently, I mentor some people, and I keep telling them, don't say you'll wait until you're 25, or don't say you'll wait until you're 30. It won't always come there. One of the things that made me realize that I need to do it when I have time is my sister died.
Yeah.
And she died at a young age, and that scared me.
Yeah.
It really did.
How old was she?
She was 19.
She was 19.
Yes, and we were sitting for a KSP, my twin sister and I, and it scared me. I think it scared me in a different way. I was like, we had plans. She had plans. We used to talk about her getting married, and because she was dating some guy that night, and how she should get her own house and would go and live in it and stuff. And then she just died, and she died before she was able to achieve everything that she wanted. And it scared me so much. I said, you know what, I can't wait. Because I don't know, this could happen to me. And you know, then I didn't understand this whole death story.
Exactly.
I just knew she was here today and she wasn't. And I said, no, I'm not gonna wait.
If you can do it now,
Do it
you
now.
will do it now.
And at some point, my dad used to tell me, slow down. You have your whole life ahead of you. I don't know that for certain. I don't know how long my life ahead of me is going to be. So my mom also keeps telling me, slow down. You need to slow down. My dad would tell me, slow down. No, I want to do this now. They'll say, fine.
The time is now.
The time is, I need to do this now. Sometimes my dad will ask me, why are you doing it now?
Because I can do it now.
Why should I do it tomorrow?
Yes,
So-
yes. So procrastination is actually one of the things that causes Generation Y.
Yes,
Probably one of the
it
situations
is.
that they're in right now.
Because you tell somebody, save now. Why am I saving now?
Yeah.
I'll do that when I'm 30, when I have a good job that's earning this amount. If you're not going to start now, what makes you think you're going to start then? And then I think also that's perhaps the thing that we have with the whole hustling thing. You tell somebody, you know what, just come up with a plan and do this and this and this. Why should I do that now? Wacha ni hustle kidogo.
Kuhustle, nikido business.
Yes. Nikifika nitaanza kusave.
Okay.
That's the problem that we're having. We still think that we have
A lot of time before we do that. And we don't always have all that time.
And you know the thing about it also is, by the time you feel that now you're ready to do that which you could have done now, you're older, you don't have the same energy you could have had, your mind is not at the same capacity or thinking capabilities, so you've lost a lot of things with the loss of the years.
And it's amazing that you've actually managed to do a lot, and next year you're getting married, so you're doing
getting married.
It's really nice talking to you, mentoring and talking to other people, and I hope young women are equally inspired by your story, that you can do it all.
Yes.
And still, even with facing all the challenges of being young, being a different color or anything, you can actually achieve it all. You have heard it from Alexandra Laura Siaga, that if you have to do it, you have to do it now, and you too can do it now. Whatever it is that you desire to do in your life, you can just do it right away. If you wish to get in touch with us, you can go to our Facebook page, Expression TV Talk Show, and you can go to our group and join us. And you can also email us on expression@kbc.co.ke. I've been your host, Esther Nema.
KBC Channel 1, Kenya's watching.